Hello, the title of this video is A Beginner's Guide to Sitemap Extensions. The purpose of this video is to help you understand different extensions of Sitemap, their required tags, and the best practices. So let's start with the image sitemap. Image sitemap help Google discover and understand the images on your website. They are helpful when you have images that Google might not easily find, like the ones displayed using JavaScript, and you can create a separate image sitemap, or you can add image sitemap tags to your existing sitemap. You can add the image sitemap tags to your existing sitemap if you don't have too many images on your website. But if you have too many images on your site and you want to include them, then ideally you should make a separate image sitemap so that the main sitemap file does not get bulky. Now we are talking about image tags. Mainly there are two tags. There are others, but those are depreciated, so that's why we are not talking about them. The first is the image tag, which encloses all the information about a single image. Next is the image location tag, which is the main URL of the image. The thing is that you need to make sure that your robots.txt file doesn't disallow the crawling of any content you want indexed. This not only applies to images but everything on your website, whether it is HTML pages, images, videos, news articles, or anything. You don't want that those pages are disallowed and then you are adding them to sitemap. It will confuse the Google bots. The next we are talking about is news sitemap. So it says that if you publish news articles on your website, then you can use the news sitemap to let Google know about your articles, and you can also provide additional information about them. You can also include the news sitemap in your existing file, but it is recommended to create a separate sitemap file, especially for your news articles, because this helps Google keep better track of your content in search results using Search Console. So when we are talking about news sitemap, it should only have the news articles on your website, because those are the ones that tends to get frequently crawled and indexed. So you want them to be indexed and crawled quicker than other kind of articles, and that's why you need to make a separate file about news sitemaps, and we will talk about this in a bit. So here are some best practices for news sitemaps. The first is that update your sitemap with fresh articles as they are published. You only want to add only 2 days worth of news content in your sitemap. Don't add old articles in your new sitemap. And it also says that don't create a new sitemap with each update. Like if you are updating something, adding something, removing something, you don't have to create a new sitemap with each update you are doing. And it says only include recent articles that were created in the last 2 days. So this is an important one, that you only want to include articles that were published in the last 2 days and not older than that. And the last one is that removing old URLs from your new sitemap may temporarily leave it empty. You might get a warning in Search Console, but it won't affect Google search if the sitemap is empty. So there can be times that you haven't published a news article in like a week or maybe 2-3 days, and it can happen that your sitemap file is empty because of that. So it can give you a warning in your Search Console that your new sitemap is empty, but it is intentional and it is okay to have an empty sitemap because you are not publishing any article. So don't worry about it. The next thing is that we are learning about the new sitemap tags. I will give you an example after explaining these tags. So the first one is the news tag. This is the parent tag in the news namespace that contains any other tags. So this is the main one. Okay. The next is the news publication tag. This encloses two other tags, which is the news name and news language. And it says each news parent tag may only have one news publication tag. So if you are declaring a news tag, then it only should have a one news publication tag, and it will include two different tags, which is the news name and the news language. Next we are talking about is the news name. The news name, like we have talked before, it is the name of the news publication. So if we are talking about New York Times, then it is New York Times. Then this is the name of the news publication. And we are continuing from the last slide. So it says news language. So the language of your publication, the language of your article, whether it is English or maybe French or Hindi or I don't know, any other language. The next is news publication date. This sounds simple. So when the article was published, and the news title, the what is the title of the news. So let me show you a sitemap from the New York Times that has all of these tags. So this is the sitemap for the New York Times, and as you can see, it has the news, and this all of this is about one single article. So here we have the opening tag, the news, and the closing tag. Then we have news publication, and it has two tags like we talked before, the news name and the news language. Here it is closed, the news publication tag. So the news name just says the New York Times because this is the name of the publication, and the news language is in English, so it is saying English. Next is the news publication date. So it is in a particular format. So this is the date and this is the time, and this is the closing tag. Next we have news title. So this is the title of the news, and the next is news keywords. So they have also included some keywords that are related to this news, and here it is closing. So this all of this is only one for one single article. You can also see that they have included the image sitemap directly in the news sitemap. So you can see it is the main declaration tag is image, and then the image location, and this is the URL of the image, and then it is closed. So this is image sitemap and the news sitemap in the single file. Now we are talking about the video sitemap. So a video sitemap provides extra details about the videos you have on your website. It helps Google to easily find and understand the video content on your site. This is especially useful for new videos or the ones that may not be easily found through normal searching, or they're not hosted on places like YouTube, so that they are accessible to everyone. And Google recommends using video sitemaps. However, they also support MRSS feeds. So let's talk through some of the video sitemap best practices. It says that don't list videos that are unrelated to the content of the host page. Suppose you have a video and it is not related to the main page, so it is not necessary or it is not important that you should add that video into the sitemap because it is not related to the main content. Next is the all of the files referenced in the video sitemap must be accessible to the Googlebot. It doesn't apply just to video sitemap or videos, it applies to everything. That it must not be disallowed for crawling via robots.txt, and it must be accessible without meta files or without logging in. So there should not be any steps between you accessing the video, and it must not be blocked by firewalls or any other kind of mechanisms, and it must be accessible on a supported protocol like HTTP and FTP. So these are some of the best practices. So here we are talking about some of the required video tags. The first one is video. This is the parent element for all the information about a single video. This is just like we are talking about the news and the image. This is just a parent tag. The next is the video thumbnail location. This is a URL that points to the location of the image thumbnail. And the next is the video title. What is the title of the video? Next is video description. Again, it is very understandable. The content location, where is the actual video, and the player location. And this is a URL pointing to a player for a specific video. Next, we are talking about some optional sitemap tags. These are some of the tags which You can add, if you want to add more information to the video, like the duration of the video, when it will expire, if it is that kind of video, what's the rating, like out of 5 star, and what's the view count, the publication date, whether or not it is family friendly, whether or not it is restricted, and which platform it is hosted on, and whether or not it requires a subscription, who is the uploader of this video, whether or not it was a live video, and what are the tags of the video. Like, you must know that whenever you upload a YouTube video, there is an option to add relevant tags about that video. So it is just like that, you can add tags about your video. And that brings us to the conclusion. So the first thing is that you should use image sitemap to specify images that Google might not easily find. For example, the images that are dynamically loaded, or the images that are only accessible through JavaScript. Next is that you should use a news sitemap to specify news articles on your site. Ideally, you may want to make a separate sitemap for news articles and only include the recent articles, like the articles from 2 days only. The last one is that you should make a video sitemap for videos that are not easily accessible in other ways, like it is not hosted on YouTube or maybe some other public platform, and you want it to be indexed and shown to people. So that's when you can make a separate video sitemap, or you can include video sitemap in your existing sitemap file. Make sure that you are not over bulking your main sitemap file. That's why it is advised that if you have more content, then you should make different sitemap files. And that's it for this video. I will include the slides in the description so that you can check it out. Thank you.